Good morning and happy Monday to the Ungovernables, the Captain's Crew, the LFA family, McGroin Nation, coming to you live from the deep red state of Tennessee on rumble.com/LFA TV, also on X. Welcome to Ungoverned. Happy to be here on it's going to be a Spygate Monday, because Spygate's back in the news. And that makes me very happy that Spygate is back in the news. Not that it happened. Obviously, I'm not excited that Spygate was thrust upon the American people, but, for those who don't remember why I got so mad in 2018 and what got me fired up to start playing a bigger role in politics and being more interested in all of this, I remember sitting on the Tappan Zee Bridge, which is, if you're in New York, it's still the Tappan Zee Bridge. It's not the Mario Cuomo Bridge. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the road says. It's the Tappan Zee. But I was sitting on the Tappan Zee, heading upstate for a Memorial Day weekend in bumper-to-bumper traffic, brutal traffic, and I said, you know what I got to do? I got to find something to listen to distract me from the traffic. And so for the very first time ever, Memorial Day 2018, Memorial Day weekend 2018, I turned on the Dan Bongino show. And Dan Bongino, the podcast, he was going crazy over the fact that there was a spy, a confidential human informant, a spy that was intercepting members of the Trump campaign. And obviously Donald Trump is already president, but all this stuff was starting to play out and get out into the, into the media and filter down to, to the podcast level. And Dan was just going berserk. He was, I don't want to hear about a confidential human informant. It's a spy. He started screaming, spy, S-P-Y, it's a spy. He started screaming. I'm like, this is informative, but it's very entertaining, too, because this man's just losing his mind about Spygate. And I was sitting there in the Tappan Zee Bridge traffic listening to this, and I'm like, this story sounds nuts. How could it be real? This is Dan Bongino. He goes on Fox News. He always yells at Geraldo Rivera. He's loud. Maybe he's just... maybe this guy is just, like Alex Jones type, where he's being sensational. But I continue listening because I'm thoroughly entertained by what, by the show that Dan has got going on. And I'm like, well, hold on. He's got receipts. Like he's pulling things from left-wing sources that are reporting on the same things that he reported. This guy was former Secret Service, been involved. He's not a sensationalist. This guy's pretty accurate. And from that moment on, he kept referencing episode 628. So I went from there all the way back to 628 and binged all of the Dan Bongino show from then all the way till his last episode, obviously, in 2025. But that was the moment where I was like, holy cow, a sitting U.S. president, and we knew it back then, there was evidence, the media didn't pick it up, a sitting U.S. president orchestrated a coup, Barack Obama, against his successor. But not only did he do that, he tried to rig the 2016 election with the same Russia scandal. So we're going to take a trip down memory lane today and do the 30,000-foot view of Spygate pertaining to really what Tulsi Gabbard released a couple of days ago. And I'll say this, and I don't care because I said it, a couple of days ago on X. And of course, this made me someone who's covering for pedophiles, which is the most ridiculous. The talking points have gone out among that crowd. And I'll tell you something about if you care about Epstein, this doesn't pertain to you. If you care, I care about Epstein. But if you're keeping a level head, this doesn't pertain to you. If you're coming unglued in people's mentions and accusing people of being a pedophile or someone who's enabling pedophiles or someone who's covering for pedophiles, because we're saying, listen, the Epstein thing is important, and yes, I want transparency on it, but it's not the biggest issue in the world. It doesn't impact my life day to day. And you start saying you are one of probably 3 people. One, you're an ever-Trumper who's just looking for a reason to hit Trump on something, and you don't actually care about Epstein. You want to pile on Trump because that's what you want to do. Fine. That's who you are. I don't agree with it. Whatever, you do you. Number 2, you're a member of the woke right who wants every single bit of information to come out about Epstein because you believe there's a concrete connection to Israel there. Okay? Again, if that's your road, if that's your, if that's your lane and you want to make that your whole identity, again, I don't think it's wise, but you're going to do you. Number 3, you're a Q lunatic who has been fed and I said lunatic, right? Has been fed all sorts of information from non-trustworthy people about Epstein, and now you got nothing, which is not right. We shouldn't be given nothing. But because you were told that this was intel from Q and all these, you were reasonably believing that you were going to be given all of that information on a silver platter and you got nothing. So now it's kind of like extinction burst behavior. You put the money into the vending machine, the thing didn't come out, and now you're beating the crap out of the machine, right? So one of 3. Now, if you're not in that and you just care about Epstein and you're not happy with the way Trump handled it, which a lot of us are in that boat, but you understand that it's going to sort itself out and there are more pressing issues to pay attention to right now, because there are, okay? Then you're like me. And I have been, and this is, again, my opinion. It's not a fact, but I strongly believe this, okay? The Spygate, Russiagate scandal. And there's a lot of people throwing the T word around, treason, which we'll see if those charges come. Probably not. I'm going to tell you. Probably not. Okay? We could refer to the acts as treasonous. No, it's a very tough threshold to meet. Matter of fact, the last time we tried a treason case was in 1952. It's 73 years ago. And it was related to wartime crimes in World War II. Somebody was, tried for treason because of what they were doing for Japan. It's a tough threshold to meet. Okay? Seditious conspiracy, maybe not as tough as a threshold. I think they threw Enrique Tarrio in jail from the Proud Boys over seditious conspiracy. I could be wrong. Either way, I believe, and I have believed this for the last 7 years, that Spygate is the biggest political spying scandal and, frankly, the biggest story in American politics, the most significant story in American politics the last 7 years. Like, I believe it's bigger than the stolen 2020 election because it was the precursor to the stolen 2020 election, because it was almost the stolen 2016 election. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not that 2020 isn't important. So this is the other problem that people have. When I say that something is more important than something else, they think that it means I think their issue is not important. Not true. I think Epstein is important. I think Spygate is more important. People are like, oh, so you think Epstein's not important? No, I think Epstein's not as important. You see, this is the problem with this all or nothing culture that we've devolved into. It's like, if you criticize, let's say, Trump on one issue, you're like, oh, so you don't like Trump anymore? No, I don't like his handling of one issue. Much like if a New England Patriots fan said Tom Brady threw an interception, it was a bad throw. Well, what's the matter? You don't like Brady? No, I do like Brady. It was just a bad throw, an isolated oopsie, right? An isolated oopsie. The best way I could describe it. So when I say that I believe Spygate's the biggest story, it's because, I believe it's true. I believe it's the biggest story that has happened over the past decade, if not longer than that. It makes Watergate look puny by comparison. It was, as Gabbard is saying now, orchestrated by the President of the United States. There are text messages between Peter Strzok and Lisa Page that back up that very idea. We're going to get to all that. It's going to be a Spygate day, and I'm going to put a link in the chat a little later that is going to give you that Epic Times infographic that I have up on the wall up there. That Epic Times infographic that has been hanging on my wall, and I've had framed since 2018 when it first came out. We'll give you a link to that too, because this is the coolest thing. And you also should be getting Dan Bongino's book Spygate, because I have a feeling that a lot of those issues that he wrote about in that book are about to start coming back to the forefront. You're going to want to have that information. If you don't have it, I'll be giving it to you, so don't worry about it. All right, before we get to all that, we got to get to a word from our friends over at OFP Farms. It's OFPFarms.com. OFPFarms.com. Promo code Sean, SHAWN. Christmas in July sale is over. It has ended. So the 35% off sale is done. Hopefully you took advantage of that. If you're still running low on some of your OFP Farms products, you can go ahead and pick it up at OFPFarms.com. You know, we love the OFP Farms. We love the OFP Farms soap. We love the OFP Farms lip balm. We were just at dinner with Matt Brown and his wonderful wife, and I took out my Goat Kisses lip balm, and then Rose took out her Goat Kisses lip balm. We were all sporting OFP Farms right here in Murfreesboro, right? It was pretty cool. But this is the Revolution soap, right? It smells like fresh change. A nice Revolution, okay? OFPFarms.com. Take a look at this image on your screen. If you have any questions about how to spell the website, some people think I say OFB. No, OFP. Oscar Foxtrot PapaFarms.com. Explore the wonderful quality of Faith Farm and Freedom products with a special limited time 15% discount on your entire purchase. Take a peek at the lineup from OFP Farms, America's go-to soap company, famous for natural ingredients, the skin-loving perks of tallow and goat milk, and a big heart for farm-to-family skincare. Nobody does it better than OFP Farms. Whether you're looking for gentle skincare or thoughtful gifts, these products bring together expert care and good values to make your daily routine better. Do not miss this chance to enjoy premium products that support your health and ethical choices for the entire family. Go to OFPFarms.com, the small farm with big love. Use the code Sean at checkout and get 15% off of your entire purchase. That's OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com, OFPFarms.com. All right, next up is...
Wait, before you do that real fast, Sauce wants you to know there's a meat heist in Philly.
There's a what?
Meat heist. Because you know how you like
the tuna.
Yeah. So I just had to
Wait a second. Wait a second. There's a meat heist
He said, tell Sean we got another meat heist.
Wait a second. How much meat has gone missing?
I don't know. We'll find out. Sauce?
How much meat has gone missing in Philadelphia? Holy cow. What is it with them stealing food? The seafood heists are my favorite. What are you doing with like 30,000 pounds of tuna? Hell, what are you doing with 300 pounds of tuna? However much they stole. Meat heist, huh? All right. Well, we'll have to keep that one on. I'll have to put that one in the stick that one in the chamber and holster it until Friday when I'm on with 1210 WPHD. Say, what's going on with this meat heist? Always something being stolen. There's a new high end. What did they steal? Kobe beef? What was it? What is that stuff?
Still has it.
Wagyu?
Wagyu. There is a new high-end meat. Yeah.
It's high-end.
It's high-end.
There we go.
PhD will come.
Of course. All right. Before we get to meat heists and Spygate, other heists, let's get to a word from our friends over at Silent. SLNT.com/Sean. It's SLNT.com/Sean, SHAWN. Take back your privacy with Silent. Between the government, big tech, corporate America, and criminals, your privacy is compromised 24/7. There's no other option. You've got to protect yourself, and that starts right here, right now, with Silent and their Faraday products. Folks, SLNT.com/Sean. Silent's Faraday products block all incoming and outgoing signals so that your devices, your phones, your tablets, your computers are invisible and safe from the outside world. From their backpacks, phone sleeves, and even pants, patented signal blocking technology blocks wireless signals, giving you peace of mind that your data does not end up in the wrong hands. Just place your device inside of it, close it up, and that's all you've got to do. You are safeguarded from unauthorized access. Go silent today at SLNT.com/Sean to save 15% off and free shipping. It stops all incoming and outgoing signals. It blocks radiation, these products do. It stops you from being tracked and hacked. This stuff is great. You could be effectively invisible because, you know, this phone's always tracking your every movement, right? These devices are tracking everywhere you go. But Silent will help you stop that. SLNT.com/Sean, SHAWN. That's Silent, SLNT.com/Sean, SHAWN for 15% off of your entire purchase and free shipping on qualifying orders. Go silent today. As the Raw throat is back.
I love silence. You know, it's nice. Quiet.
Silence!
And so silent is good too.
Yes, we do. Silent is good too, yes. Who said this here? Buckin. I like the Louisiana senator. I'm a partial vegan. We eat cows that are vegans.
Okay, Sauce said 40 boxes of stolen meat.
40 boxes of stolen. What are you doing? See, my thing about
it. My mom said that my second uncle or something, he buys it up there in like parking lots.
He buys hot stolen meat.
Apparently.
So I guess they're reselling it at lower than what you would get at a supermarket.
Because they get it for free.
Because they get it for free.
And then they can sell it at a discount, but
who are they selling it? I guess your uncle.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine there's a black market for meat. But I guess there is because it's expensive. Yeah. All right, anyway. Let's get right into Spygate, okay? Let's get right into Spygate. What did Tulsi Gabbard say? What did Tulsi Gabbard do? We've got clips, and this is bringing back, the whole band is getting back together, okay? Let's see how many people, Silent, the company who has silent vowels. I like that. That's funny. I may start adding that in. All right. Let's see who can remember. Which Fox News morning host was the one who always had the inside scoop on Spygate that Dan Bongino would always cite? Let's see. For those of you Bongino Army diehards, Spygate fanatics like myself, this is my favorite story, so I'm so happy that it's in the news. This may help you a whole week on Spygate. We'll see what happens. Which Fox News morning host, television, was always the one with the inside scoop and did the best interviews when it came to Spygate back in its heyday, 2018, 2019, 2020. Which one do you think it was? Which one do you remember it being? Because when I saw this story and Tulsi Gabbard clips, not Glenn Beck, close. Well, not really close. Not Mike Ben. Mike Benz is not a Fox News host. There it is. I think he's trying to say it. Bad Moon tried to say it, but he spelled it completely wrong.
Bad Moon can't
Bimberino. I think he meant to say Maria Bartiromo. Yes, it's Maria Bartiromo. Bumba's got it. Bad Moon, I think, had it, even though he named somebody else. It was Maria Bartiromo who did those morning shows on Sunday that Dan Bongino, remember, I think there was like the Devin Nunes translator was one of the bits he used to do on his podcast. And it was always stuff that Devin Nunes would say to Maria Bartiromo. It was Maria Bartiromo every single time that somebody with Spygate information went on with Maria Bartiromo. It was talked about by the right people for weeks, okay? And Tulsi Gabbard essentially revived that trend yesterday. Take a look at the things that she said about what she uncovered as from the Office of Director of National Intelligence. Take a look.
The implications of this are frankly nothing short of historic. Over 100 documents that we released on Friday really detail and provide evidence of how this treasonous conspiracy was directed by President Obama just weeks before he was due to leave office, after President Trump had already gotten elected. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is an issue that is so serious it should concern every single American, because it has to do with the integrity of our democratic republic. What we saw occur here, as the documents we released detailed, was that we had a sitting president of the United States and his cabinet and leadership team, quite frankly, who were not happy with the fact that President Trump had won the election, that the American people had chosen Donald J. Trump to be the next president, commander-in-chief of the United States. And so they decided that they would do everything possible to try to undermine his ability to do what voters tasked President Trump to do. So creating this piece of manufactured intelligence that claims that Russia had helped Donald Trump get elected contradicted every other assessment that had been made previously in the months leading up to the election that said exactly the opposite, that Russia had neither the intent nor the capability to try to, quote unquote, hack the United States election for the presidency of the United States. So the effect of what President Obama and his senior national security team did was subvert the will of the American people, undermining our democratic republic, and enacting what would be essentially a years-long coup against President Trump, who was duly elected by the American people.
So there is Tulsi Gabbard on with Maria Bimberino, as this is a bad mood wanted to say, Maria Bartiromo, talking about the scandal, the scam that Barack Obama, the deep state, etc., pulled on Donald Trump while he was running for president, and then after he had run for president. So if you remember how Spygate started, many people heard that, there was this idea that Russia helped Donald Trump and they investigated it. That's not the whole story, okay? That's the Russiagate part of Spygate. The Spygate part of Spygate is even worse, okay? So let's go back down the line. Let's take a trip down memory lane to Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. You guys remember Peter Strzok and Lisa Page? What do we call them? They're the lovebirds. Oh, Peter, I love you. Lisa, I love you too. Peter, I love you. Oh, Peter. Peter, we have to stop Donald Trump from winning. Are we going to do that? Yes, we have an insurance policy, Lisa. Look at my insurance policy. Isn't it beautiful? Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. January of 2018, the text. Martin O'Malley is a freak show. Yikes, that's what everyone says. March 12th, 2nd through 12th. Strzok, he asked me who I'd vote for. I guessed Kasich. Page said, seriously, would you not Democrat? Strzok said, I suppose Hillary. March 4th through 12th, Lisa Page. God, Trump is a loathsome human. Strzok, yet he may win. / good for Hillary, talking about winning the primary. Strzok, America will get what the voting public deserves. Page, that's what I'm afraid of. July 5th, 2016. Now the pressure really starts to finish. Mid-year exam. July 21st, 2016. Strzok text an unnamed FBI attorney describes Trump as a disaster and discussed how destabilizing his presidency might be. July 31st, 2016. This is right when Crossfire Hurricane was launched. That's the Russia investigation while Trump was running for president. Damn, this feels momentous because this matters. Super glad to be on this voyage with you. Referring to launching Crossfire Hurricane. August 6th, Lisa Page to Peter Strzok. And maybe you're meant to stay where you are because you're meant to protect the country from that menace. Again, talking about Peter Strzok playing an instrumental role in the Russia investigation while Donald Trump was running for president. August 8th, 2016, Lisa Page said, Trump's not ever going to become president, right? Right? Strzok replies, no, he's not. We'll stop it. These are FBI agents, Strzok, among the higher levels of the FBI regarding Crossfire Hurricane, saying they're going to stop Donald Trump from becoming the president of the United States. And this is why the Spygate portion of this whole Russia scandal is the most significant thing, in my opinion, because you had the intel community. They launched a counterintelligence investigation into the Trump campaign based off of the Steele dossier, which was bullcrap. August 5th, 2016. I want to believe the path you threw out for consideration in Andy's office, likely talking about Andy McCabe, deputy director of the FBI, that there's no way he gets elected, meaning Trump. But I'm afraid we can't take that risk. It's like an insurance policy. September 2nd, 2016. POTUS, who was the president in 2016?
Trump.
No, who was the president in 2016?
Obama.
Yes. Trump got sworn in 2017.
Okay.
September 2nd, 2016, Page to Strzok. POTUS, as Brennan just clarified, was Obama. POTUS wants to know everything we're doing. Which leads me to play this clip from Tulsi Gabbard. Listen, Obama was already directly implicated, okay? We know that. But Tulsi went a step further because of some of the information that has been uncovered. Watch this.
There's no question in my mind that this intelligence community assessment that President Obama ordered be published, which contained a manufactured intelligence document. It's worse than even politicization of intelligence. It was manufactured intelligence that sought to achieve President Obama and his team's objective, which was undermining President Trump's presidency and subverting the will of the American people. So yes, next week we will be releasing more detailed information about how exactly this took place and the extent to which this information was sought to be hidden from the American people, hidden from officials who would be in a position to do something about it. And that's really the point here that I think is most important, Maria, and you said it in your opening. Accountability is essential for the future of our country, for the American people to have any sense of trust in the integrity of our democratic republic. Accountability, action, prosecution, indictments for those who are responsible for trying to steal our democracy is essential for us to make sure that this never happens to our country again.
Okay, indictments. She did mention the I word. She wants to see the indictments, okay? The director of National Intelligence wants indictments. I want indictments too. Hopefully it doesn't get lost on Pam Bondi's desk. You know, that desk just swallows things whole. It's kind of like Kamala Harris. What swallows more things? Pam Bondi's desk or Kamala Harris?
Oh, Kamala Harris.
You think Kamala Harris could
She's
swallow
been
more
doing
than
it for years?
I mean,
that's how
true.
she got to where
That's
she
true.
is.
Kamala's desk may be a better swallower than Pam. Kamala Harris may be a better swallower than Pam Bondi's desk. That's not nice. It's funny, though. We assess that the Russian and criminal... This is from a presidential daily briefing in December of 2016. Obama administration's top officials committed a treasonous conspiracy by manufacturing and politicizing intelligence to create the false narrative that led to the year-long Trump-Russia collusion probe led by Bob Mueller, Andy Weissman, etc. Despite the intelligence community's consensus that Russia, quote, lacked the intent and capability to hack U.S. elections prior to Trump's 2016 win over Hillary Clinton, Gabbard said Obama's officials changed their tune soon after the president won, ignoring the evidence. Quote, we assess that Russian and criminal actors did not impact recent U.S. election results by conducting malicious cyber activities against election infrastructure, a declassified December 8th, 2016 presidential daily brief that was set to be published the next day stated. December 8th, 2016, there was no collusion. There was no election results being changed. While finding that the Russian government-affiliated actors most likely compromised an Illinois voter registration database and unsuccessfully attempted the same in other states, intelligence officials said that election monitoring combined with the fact that neither vote counting nor casting infrastructures were harmed made it, quote, highly unlikely that any results were altered. Quote, criminal activity also failed to reach the scale and sophistication necessary to change election outcomes, noted the briefing, prepared by the Department of Homeland Security, with reporting from the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, State Department, and open sources. The brief noted that then DNI James Clapper's office determined that any actions by the Russians, quote, probably were intended to cause psychological effects, such as undermining the credibility of the election process and candidates. That presidential daily briefing was not published the next day. It will not run tomorrow and is not likely to run until next week, wrote the deputy director of the presidential daily brief at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, whose name is redacted from the declassified documents. This came just days after James Clapper's December 7th talking point stated foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on election infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome. So, December 7th, December 8th, everybody's on board with the idea that Russia didn't do anything. Russia did not do anything. On the day the ODB was supposed to be published on December 9th, the PDB, sorry, national security community officials, including Clapper, then CIA Director John Brennan, and then National Security Advisor Susan Rice, then Secretary of State John Kerry, and then Attorney General Loretta Lynch, then Deputy Director of the FBI Andrew McCabe, and others met in the White House Situation Room to discuss Russia. The meeting's subject line stated summary of conclusions for PC meeting on a sensitive topic. Declassified meeting records showed that principals agreed to recommend sanctioning of certain members of the Russian military, intelligence, and foreign intelligence chains of command. Following the meeting, Clapper's assistant emailed intelligence leaders telling them to create a new assessment per the president's request, detailing, quote, the tools Moscow used and actions it took to influence the 2016 election. The original presidential daily brief that said Russia did nothing was never published, and a new brief came out. By January 6, 2017, a new assessment that directly contradicted the intelligence community assessments that were made throughout the previous 6 months was released. Quote, these documents detail a treasonous conspiracy by officials at the highest levels of the Obama White House to subvert the will of the American people and try to usurp the president from fulfilling his mandate. This is huge information. We saw that Obama wanted to know everything that was going on with Crossfire Hurricane. There was a presidential daily brief that said Russia didn't do anything. And at the president's request, again, Obama, at that point, they changed it up. They fabricated this entire scandal to carry over the head of Donald Trump for the first couple of years of his administration. The Russia scandal interfered in the 2016 election, the 2022 election, and they used it, the 2016 election, the 2018 midterms, the 2020 general, and the 2022 midterms. All right. We're going to get to more of that in a second. Before we do that, I got to take a quick break. Excuse me. Talk to you about our friends over at Patriot Mobile. PatriotMobile.com/Farish. PatriotMobile.com/FARASH. This is Patriot Mobile. Ladies and gentlemen, I realize there's many choices when it comes to who you choose for your cell phone service, and there are new ones popping up all the time. But here's the truth. There's only one that proudly stands in the gap for every American that believes that freedom is worth fighting for, and that is Patriot Mobile. For more than 12 years, Patriot Mobile has been on the front lines fighting for our God-given rights and freedoms while also providing exceptional nationwide cell phone service with access to all three of the major U.S. networks. Don't just take my word for it. Ask the hundreds of thousands of Americans who have made the switch and are now supporting causes that they believe in simply by joining Patriot Mobile. Switching is easier than ever. Activate in minutes from the comfort of your own home. Keep your number, keep your phone, or even upgrade your phone. Patriot Mobile's all U.S.-based support team is standing by to take care of you. Call 972-PATRIOT today or go to patriotmobile.com/FARASH. Use the promo code FARASH. That's Farish for a free month of service. PatriotMobile.com/Farish or 972-PATRIOT. Make the switch today. That is PatriotMobile.com/Farish, FARASH or 972-PATRIOT. Again, make the switch today. All right, we're going to get more into Spygate in a second. We're going to get more into what exactly went on here. Got another clip from Tulsi Gabbard coming right up. Before we do that, I want to talk to you about our friends over at purehealthresearch.com, but I'm not going to do the talking. My throat's killing me. So we're going to let our good friend Jeremy Harrell deliver this amazing message. Pure Health Research, purehealthresearch.com/LFA.
Hey guys, what's going on? I got an incredible offer here for you from Pure Health Research. This is going to blow your mind. Look, I know so many people out there, especially as we get older, we want to drop a few pounds. We lose a little energy. We lose a little testosterone. We lose a little, estrogen. We just lose as we get older. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to gain, and this message is just for you. Pure Health Research is on a mission to what? Make America healthy again. They are aligned with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s mission, and I'm aligned with that. Their two best-selling health supplements right now that are leading the way is the liver health formula. Over 100 million Americans are sluggish because of a liver that is riddled with fatty deposits. This can kill your metabolism, pile on pounds, make you feel tired. All that liver health formula will take care of that. It supports your liver health with special nutrients like artichoke extract and milk thistle. This is one of the easiest ways to slim down. Next is the lymph system support. If you struggle with fluid buildup or swelling in your legs, ankles, been there, done that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this one's going to be for you. The natural ingredient in the lymph system formula helps gently flush extra fluids and toxins out of the body. Right now, you can get a limited time offer, 35% off right now. 35% off by going to purehealthresearch.com and using promo code LFA. That's Pure Health Research right now. Use promo code LFA and you'll get 35% off targeted products. I need something for this. I need something for that. They got it. And I want you to check out their reviews online. They are through the roof. purehealthresearch.com, promo code LFA.
PureHealthResearch.com, promo code LFA. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, PureHealthResearch.com, for being a part of the show. We greatly appreciate it. Now, this Russia story. I got one more clip from Tulsi Gabbard. It says that whistleblowers are coming forward. But I want to tell you why I care so much about this Russia story. Again, it's not just about, I want everyone to understand, the Russia story is not just about 2016. They used this, and they're still using it, to interfere in foreign policy, okay? But they used this to interfere in 4 elections, 16, 18, 20, and 22. Check out this clip from Tulsi Gabbard, though, with some encouraging information. Again, it takes a few courageous people to step up in these institutions and do the right thing. And Tulsi Gabbard says that whistleblowers are indeed coming forward.
From here, will we ever see anyone held accountable for this incredible lie on the American people?
I will do all that I can, and we have whistleblowers, actually, Maria, coming forward now after we release these documents, because there are people who were around, who were working within the intelligence community at this time, who were so disgusted by what happened. We're starting to see some of them come out of the woodwork here, because they too, like you and I and the American people, want to see justice delivered. So we're going to provide everything that we have, everything that we will continue to gather to the Department of Justice for that direct intent and that direct purpose. There must be indictments, those responsible, no matter how powerful they are and were at that time, no matter who was involved in creating this treasonous conspiracy against the American people, they
must be held accountable, and I agree with Tulsi Gabbard. And the reason why I am so, I'll say, obsessive and interested, and I believe, and so devoted to uncovering Spygate, is because the Spygate, which was the spying on Trump scandal before he won the election, they did spy on his presidency after winning the election, but the spying scandal led directly into the Mueller probe and the Russia collusion scandal, okay? They spied on Trump's campaign first. They tried to dig up details about, nonsense connections to Russia, anything they can run with first in 2016 during the election to try and influence the election and rig the 2016 election. And then after they lost, was it the insurance policy that Peter Strzok was talking about, where they'll just launch an investigation and bog down the entire Trump administration for the first couple of years? That's exactly what happened. They even got their attorney general, Jeff Sessions, recuse myself. Jeff Sessions recused himself from all of those different matters. I mean, he should have stood strong. But this is the reason why I am so interested and why I believe Spygate is the most important thing and should be priority number 1 going forward to the Department of Justice. Not that there aren't important issues. Not that the DOJ can't do multiple things at once. But in my opinion, Spygate and the Russia scandal should be priority number 1. And I don't give a sugar honey iced tea, who gets pissed off at that. Everyone has their pet issues. Spygate is my pet issue. It's been my pet issue for 7 years, just like immigration has been my pet issue for a long time, okay? And we're finally taking that seriously. I want Spygate to be priority number 1 and this Russia scandal to be priority number 1 at the Department of Justice. That doesn't mean they can't do other things at the same time, but priority number 1 needs to be uncovering every last detail, every last element of coordination, who was behind the spying scandal on Donald Trump's campaign in 2016, and who was behind launching and all of the relevant levers, who pulled the relevant levers to launch that Russian collusion probe by Bob Mueller. Because here's what the left did with Spygate in Russia, okay? The left used the Spygate scandal, okay, and the dossier, the whole, well, they were investigating Trump for, connections to Russia during the campaign. There's got to be something there. Where there's smoke, there's fire. They led that into the Mueller probe, which tore apart and bogged down the Trump administration for the first couple of years in his first term. But they also used it not just to interfere in 2016, where they floated out that rumor that, oh my gosh, there's a counterintelligence operation into Trump. Is he colluding with the Russians going in? That was just laying the groundwork for what was to come. They used the Russia scandal and the Mueller probe to interfere in the 2018 midterms. They then used it again to interfere in the 2020 election. And the 2022 election. You say, wait a minute, I don't remember there being a Russia scandal in 2020. You don't. When Hunter Biden's laptop and all those details came out, who did they blame? Russia. They blamed Russia. And they basically took the laptop and they said, no. This is a Russian disinformation campaign. Remember Russia 2016? They helped Trump once. They're trying to help him again, even though it never happened. They used it in 2020 to discredit the laptop, which was Hunter's laptop that he signed his name to. And they used it again in 2022 because if you remember, right after the 2022 midterms came out, was it finally verified by mainstream media sources? Oh, yeah, that laptop belonged to Hunter. It wasn't Russian. They used it in 4 election cycles, 2016, 2018, 2020, and 2022. And for everybody who's concerned about the 2020 election and the questions surrounding it, as am I, this plays directly into that because you had a poll released that said 17% of Biden voters would not have voted for Joe Biden had they known about Hunter Biden's laptop and believed the stories about Hunter Biden's laptop. But those stories were debunked using the exact same hoax that they used in 16 and 18. They used it in 20 and they used it in 2022. And they're still calling Donald Trump Putin's puppet, right? And interfering in U.S. foreign policy in a conflict out there in Europe. This is why I care so much about Spygate. It's not just about the fact that the president of the United States in 2016 ordered the intelligence community to spy on his political opponent. It's not just that that president laid the groundwork for his successor to be undermined for the better half of his first term. It's the fact that the president, Obama, laid the groundwork for 4 U.S. election cycles to be interfered with based off of nothing. There was no collusion. There was nothing. It was all fabricated. Even the Obama intelligence community in 2016 in December said, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. But they twisted it and they fabricated it and they turned it into a scandal and they destroyed the first 2 years of Donald Trump's term and attempted to remove a sitting president from office over it. This is something that happened and you would see happen in places like the USSR, in Cuba. This is something that happens in corrupt third world countries. It happened here. This has got to be priority number 1 of this administration. Just slow this whole thing down, what I just went over with you, and think about how dirty that is. Just you and me, we all voted for Donald Trump in 2016 to be our president. He won a he won a free and fair election in 2016. He was the duly elected president in 2016. And the powers that be that transitioned power to him refused to let him take power smoothly. They went after Roger Stone. They went after Mike Flynn. They went after Carter Page. They went after Manafort. They went after Papadopoulos. They went after all sorts of people. They didn't care whose lives they destroyed. They went after everybody because they couldn't accept the results of the 2016 election. This is why Spygate matters. For the people, there are some who say, no, that's old news. Let's move on. No, it's not. They're still relying on it today. Every time they say that Donald Trump is Putin's puppet, that's the Russia scandal. Every time. It all comes from that, and it all started with dirty, smelly B.O. Barack Obama. I want to put this link in the chat. Brennan, don't ban me for doing that because I want to show you. This right here is your go-to graphic that really explains Spygate to everybody. It looks like the Charlie Day meme, right? Where like all the like the conspiracy theory stuff. But this is a high resolution. You could zoom in. It's got everybody here. Look at this. Everybody. All of it. From top to bottom. Fusion GPS, all out into the media, the international media. You've got Congress. You've got the White House, everybody that's involved there. The surveillance on the Trump campaign with Papadopoulos, Carter Page, Manafort, Flynn, right? Don Jr. Remember, they tried to put Don Jr. in jail because of the meeting with Natalia Veselnitskaya. See right there. Stefan Halper, who was the spy. Joseph Mifsud. Nobody knows where the hell that guy is. He was the one who planted information in Papadopoulos to be extracted by Alexander Downer, the Australian diplomat. You had the UK involved. You had Australia involved. That's 3, between the United States, the UK, and Australia. 3 of the Five Eyes country were involved in fixing the result of our elections. How people want to tell me that a dead pedophile is more important than this is beyond me. I'm not saying Epstein's not important. But the Epstein stuff is not currently being used, well, it is now, to influence our elections. Don't get it twisted. I want answers on Epstein too, but I want answers on Spygate first. It's a much bigger deal. And that's not me saying I don't care about kids or that I'm defending pedophiles or that I want people to get off. I'm telling you, first of all, the same people are implicated and most likely implicated in both. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, the deep state. You know, for everyone who wants to see deep state arrests, they only want to see it through Epstein. You're much more likely to get it through this because the evidence exists. All right. I'm putting this link in the chat here. This is the Epic Times infographic that I just put on your screen. I encourage everybody to save that and look at that and study that. Okay. Before we take another quick break, there's another report coming from Paul Sperry, who is extremely reliable, extremely trustworthy, and has been a rock star on Spygate since the 2017 time period. Paul Sperry says the following in a post he put on X. Developing, I'm told that there are texts and emails indicating the Hillary Clinton campaign and her aides. Hillary Clinton campaign aides directly coordinated with the Obama White House, NSC, State Department, and intelligence community officials in efforts to dig up dirt tying Donald Trump to Vladimir Putin in July of 2016. Again, July of 2016 is when Spygate started. It actually started before that because Papadopoulos was bumping into informants before they officially opened the probe. How could Papadopoulos bump into Joseph Mifsud in Rome in April of 2016, discussing information that was later going to be discussed in July of 2016 if the probe started in July of 2016? Does this make any sense? No, they were doing it beforehand. They were laying the groundwork beforehand. The Clinton campaign was directly coordinating with the Obama White House, National Security Council, State Department, and intelligence community in the effort to dig up dirt tying Donald Trump to Putin in 2016. The sitting president was coordinating with the Democrat nominee for president on how to falsely tie Donald Trump to Russia to rig the 2016 election. According to what Paul Sperry is told exists in the form of emails and texts. We'll see if we can get those, if those come out. All right, quick break. Let's get to a word from our friends over at My Patriot Supply. This is mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned, mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. According to the Department of Energy, blackouts could increase by 10,000% over the next few years. That's a scary thing, right? It's because of massive energy demand from AI data centers, an aging, fragile power grid that just can't keep up. Listen, I don't know about you, but I don't like the idea of being without power, even for just a day. That's why, folks, that's why I want to talk to you about the Grid Doctor 3300 from My Patriot Supply. It is a powerful solar generator that runs refrigerators, AC units, medical devices, power tools, and anything else that you need to ride out a blackout. And right now, for their Christmas in July event, they are including over $1,000 in free survival gear with your Grid Doctor 3300 generator, including an emergency food supply, water filtration, survival tools, and a whole lot more. You heard that right. Over $1,000 in free gear for just a limited time. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. That's mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. Grab the Christmas in July bundle before it is gone. Blackouts are coming. Go to mypatriotsupply.com/ungoverned. Get prepared today. Grid failure is no longer a what if. Unfortunately, it's turning into a when. The Grid Doctor 3300 is EMP protected and powerful enough to run fridges, medical devices, power tools, and more. It's a solar generator. You can run it in your house. No fumes, no noise, nothing like that. All right, next up, our friends over at tryarmor.com/LFA TV. That is TRYARMRA.com/LFA TV. The secret to glowing skin and fitness performance, according to the great Dylan Filion over at over in Iowa. This is tryarmor.com/LFA TV. Look, we're always on the lookout for ways to strengthen immunity and gut health, improve fitness and metabolism, and enhance skin and hair radiance to glow. That's what colostrum can do for you. The first nutrition we receive in life contains all the essential nutrients our bodies need in order to thrive. You can reactivate your hair growth and help your skin glow, fortify your gut health and ignite your metabolism, and fuel your fitness performance and recovery. Just check it out at tryarmor.com/LFA TV. That is TRYARMRA.com/LFA TV. Tryarmor.com/LFA TV for 15% off your first order. Tryarmor.com/LFA TV for 15% off of your first order. Okay. So we did Spygate for like the whole show. I didn't anticipate that, but I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen because when we do Spygate, I can't help myself. I just have to keep going. It's got to be priority number one of the Department of Justice. Now, priority number one of the entire administration has got to be this. I love this. The head of ICE says that agents will arrest anybody found in the United States illegally and crack down on employers of unauthorized workers. Yes, please do that. Why? Why do we want to do that? Because nobody's above the law. That's right. Mr. Rooster, the nobody's above the law rooster. Nobody's above the law. All right, nobody's above the law. It's true. Here's the head of ICE. What's his name? Lyons? Is that his name? I think it is. I don't remember his first name, but his last name is Lyons. Yes. Lyons. Yeah, Todd Lyons. I couldn't get his first name. Todd Lyons, the acting director of ICE, said his agency will prioritize its limited resources on arresting and deporting the worst of the worst, such as those in the United States unlawfully who also have serious criminal histories. But they're not just going to stop there. Take a listen to what he said on CBS News' Face the Nation yesterday.
We just, as you mentioned, rode along with not Border Patrol, but ICE agents in Maryland, and we saw the agents arresting sex offenders, suspected gang members, the individuals that the president has promised to deport from the country. He often talks about getting rid of the worst who are in the country illegally. But we have also seen ICE arrest day laborers outside of Home Depots, in some cases farm workers, people attending their court hearings in immigration court. Is the policy still to prioritize the arrest and deportation of people who are here illegally, but also are violent offenders?
Yes, ICE is going to focus on the worst of the worst. And that's what we do need to focus our limited resources on. That's one thing I've always said from the start. What's, again, frustrating for me is the fact that we would love to focus on these criminal aliens that are inside a jail facility, right? A local law enforcement agency, state agency already deemed that person a public safety threat and arrested them, and they're in detention. I'd much rather focus all of our limited resources on that to take them into custody. But we do have to go out into the community and make those arrests. And that's where you are seeing those increase of, if we encounter someone, say, that is here in the country legally, we will take them into custody. In regards to the work site, like you mentioned, one thing that I really like to highlight, especially what kicked off June 6th in LA, is the fact that when you see ICE doing these work raids, like the marijuana grow farm, we are going there with criminal search warrants or criminal arrest warrants. Not only are we focused on those individuals that are, working here illegally, we're focused on these American companies that are actually exploiting these laborers, these people that came here for a better life, either, forced labor, child trafficking. A lot of these worksite cases just isn't a victimless crime of someone here working legally. And that's why we're going there with these criminal warrants, to focus on these American businesses that are trying to make an extra dollar on the backs of these people that came here for a better life.
So you are planning on holding accountable the employers, the companies that are hiring people who are here illegally, not just the workers?
100%.
Because that has been a concern.
It is.
Okay. Now, before we fillet Todd Lyons for saying they're not here for a better life, he's using their terminology against them. It is brilliant. How many times have we said on the show, hey, I thought they were just here for a better life? They're getting exploited. That doesn't sound like their lives are getting better, right? That's what he's doing there. That's what he's doing there. He's using the left's terminology against them, and I think it's brilliant. Notice what Todd Lyons said, the acting head of ICE, that on these farms, in these restaurants, remember, these are the industries that Brooke Rollins and some people in the administration were pushing to grant exemptions for. And he's talking about these companies are just trying to do it to make more money. Okay? Capitalism's cool, but we got to be ethical about it. This is not ethical, nor is it legal. He's telling you that there's a pattern. We've been talking about this pattern of trafficking, sex trafficking, human trafficking, drug trafficking, drug smuggling, etc., going on in that segment specifically. That's where they hide. Oh, no, I'm just working. No, you're not. I love hearing that they're going to 100% go after these employers and the illegals in those industries. It's exactly what I wanted to hear. And that's been the position of the administration since those exemptions were rolled back. All right, Jeremy Harrell is coming up next here on Live from America, LFA TV, rumble.com/LFA TV, and of course over on X as well. You can follow this show specifically everywhere you get your podcast by searching for Ungoverned on any podcasting platform. I encourage anybody who's here watching, listening, if you like what you see, go ahead and check out any podcasting platform, search Ungoverned, hit subscribe. It's all you got to do. We'd greatly appreciate it. It helps us fly up the charts there. Hit the thumbs up button before we go today. Jeremy Harrell coming up next for the next 2 hours. As President Trump would say, we will never give up. We will never give in. We will never, ever surrender. If all else fails, we'll just become ungovernable. Thank you. God bless you. God bless this one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a great rest of your Monday. We're back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. In the words of John Fetterman, good night, everybody. Bang gavel. And of course, thank you for your attention to this matter.